So here we are at the demo page of the website. This is the hub of the website that people will use to access all of the pages that have been built. They're accessed via these markers. These markers over here at the moment are being used by the developer who is doing a few things to tie up. This banner down the bottom here is also being tied up at the moment, so it's not quite right, but the functionality of the markers are in a state that we can do this. There are going to be on the demo page one marker in each state, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 markers in total, major regions, major pages. Now if I zoom in on this one here, I've just started the first one. So now that I've got to this level, you can see that some other icons have appeared. So what we have, this is the page, Cape Le Grand. The image needs to change. And in here, Cape Le Grand Beach, Lucky Bay. So I've just started to populate these, and these are the actual scenic gems. So this relates to the page here. Cape Le Grand is the big marker that's seen from when it's zoomed out. And then if I move down the page, we've got Lucky Bay, and we've got, was it Frenchman's Peak? Might have been a different one. What have I got? Lucky Bay and Cape Le Grand Beach. But they all need to be populated anyway. So what needs to happen is, sorry, go back to here. What needs to happen, these images need to be updated and these markers need to be created. Going into the editing this page, the demo page, if I come up to the top, when you first see it, when it first loads, it looks like this. So there's the shortcode for the map press, the footer down the bottom, and just here, this is the actual map. This is where all the markers will be added. So in here, you can see that there are a number of markers. These ones here are the ones that the developer is using to work on the website, and these ones at the top, Lucky Bay, Cape Le Grand Beach, Cape Le Grand, that's these ones here. So let's go through and create a marker, for instance. So just here, press this button to create a marker, place it where it needs to be, and then it's a little bit cumbersome, but we have to click save and then go back into the demo, click on this, and then you'll get the pop-up. So this pop-up is where all the information is set. So let's just call this test marker. It will be one of the markers. Oh, actually no, let's do this. So let's go to Frenchman's Peak. Hasn't been done yet. So we'll put in Frenchman's Peak. Frenchman's Peak. Now we want to change this. It's a scenic gem marker. That's the region marker, so the top of the page. That's the scenic gem marker. So we'll click on that. That's the one that we want. Minimum zoom level and max zoom level. So we want to put in, I think the others, I'll just save. I think the others are set at the moment to 1019. So I'll go back to Frenchman's Peak. 1019. So what Google Maps, when it's zoomed right out so you can see the whole Earth, is 0, and all the way in is 19. There are some extra levels, but 19 for this map is fine. So we're setting this one at level 10. So level 10, let me just explain that. I'll just save this. Level 10 is where these markers disappear. So if I come out and come out again, you can see that the satellite markers, which is what they're called in the settings, satellite and region, the satellite markers have disappeared. So from 0 right out to level 9, they are invisible. Once you get to level 10 and you zoom in, these ones become available. This is because when zoomed out, all these little markers aren't necessary until you're actually really looking at the area. So when it's right out looking at Australia, it's only the main region markers which are visible, which makes things not cluttered. So going back to the markers, coming back here, coming in. Now it is a bit cumbersome, this panel, but it does work well enough to get everything done that we need to do. So this is the new marker that we've created, Frenchman's Peak. So we've got 1019 as the min and max zoom level. The bubble background image. All the images that you will need are going to be taken from the media library. So if I come into Cape Le Grand, these images here of Frenchman's Peak, it's quite big. This image will need to be found in the media library, saved, resized in Photoshop, re-imported, and brought in. So we'll get to preparing the images shortly. Let's say you did have the image. So if I go into, I think, Lucky Bay, and just copy out this previous image which has been uploaded into the media library, come back into Frenchman's Peak and put the JPEG into the bubble background image and save that. That's pretty much all that needs to happen for this marker of Frenchman's Peak, with the correct image. Where it needs to be placed is another issue which I need to talk about as well. So let's save that, which saves the MapPress map, then needs to be updated so that then it's all going into the database. Coming back into the demo, and now we have a new marker called Frenchman's Peak with the old image in it. Okay. As I said, there are two different kinds of markers. You have the satellite markers, which are the actual scenic gems, the specific locations. These need to be placed exactly where they need to be. This region marker is just kind of in the general area and is seen by itself when the map is zoomed out, which is Cape Le Grand, the destination. So it's not so critical where this one's placed, but it is critical where these ones are placed. So how do we figure out where these markers are going to be placed? I think the easiest way to do this is to get you to place them. So let's say, for instance, we've got Cape Le Grand and we've got Frenchman's Peak. So we'll go into Google, and I've already typed in Frenchman's Peak, Cape Le Grand, and it's placed the marker here. Now Frenchman's Peak, with topography turned on, I can tell you, is right there where this peak is. So you probably wouldn't know that that was where the actual location is. Google is telling you that it's there. It's still within Cape Le Grand National Park. So just go with whatever Google gives you, or use your intuition, use your research to find where these markers should be. Don't go to too much effort. As long as they're in the area, that's fine, because I'll come in afterwards and move these exactly where they need to be. So long as they're in the in the same area, that's great, I'll move them. So how do we get the images? So starting with Cape Le Grand. So Cape Le Grand, we'll go to the media library. Media library. So if we type in Cape, it's probably got that in it, Cape Le Grand. Then obviously just looking for the image. Looks like it's that one there. Okay, so that's the image that. Now the only way that I know to get an image out of WordPress is to actually go into FTP. So copying the URL and then pasting it somewhere will reveal that it's in 2016-12 folder, View Frenchman's Peak. So V is going to be down the bottom, 2016-12. Coming into FileZilla, you'll need FileZilla obviously, or another FTP program. Downloading an update, be back in a sec. Okay, so to connect to my website via FTP, there's the details there. Admin, so the password, I'm pretty sure, is going to be so use that as the password. Okay, so that's FTP. Now that we've connected, let's wait for the handshake. Okay. I think it was 2016-12. Down the bottom to V. Okay, View Frenchman's Peak. Yeah, 1350 by 640. No, that's a 100 by 100. That's not the right one. We want the largest image possible. That's the one there. So download that image. Okay, so in my downloads folder I have this file. So I'm going to open this now in Photoshop. And what the size that we need, to make the thumbnails, just give me a second, come to the demo. It's on one of these images here, I just quickly find it, 346 by 160 I think. Okay, 346 by 160 is the size that we need. So to do this and to make it as quick as possible, we'll start with setting up an action. So these are my actions that I use, and we're going to create a new action, and we'll call this, well, thumbnail resize. Call it whatever you like. So now whatever we do is going to be recorded. So 346 by 160. So let's firstly go into image size. Now there's going to be two image sizes, isn't there? It's going to be 1350 by 640, and then there's going to be the Scenic Gem. No, they're all the same now. They're all the same dimension, so that's great. So 1350 by 640, we need to we'll constrain it to start off with, and we'll make it